Struggling to land interviews for a data analytics role? Your resume may be what's holding you back. And here's the truth, even a great resume can always be improved. When I first applied for a business analyst role at United Health Group, my resume was what got me interviews and the job. But looking back on it, there are things that I'd want to change. But good enough is better than waiting on perfect. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why my resume worked so that you can stand out and start landing interviews and jobs as well. Hi, I'm Jeff, and I started in data analytics over 13 years ago, worked up to become a data analyst, and now I'm a business analyst consultant at United Health Group, a Fortune 4 company, and I first became a business analyst there over 10 years ago, and that's the resume I'm going to be sharing today. The job market's also tough, but I'm on a mission to help 10,000 people break into data with weekly insights to make that happen. So if you're serious about landing your first data job, hit subscribe now, and then let's dive in. Let's hop into what the original business requirements are for this job opening. I had to dig into my emails and found an email from my old boss from 2014, from right before I interviewed for this job. Here is what she sent me. Bachelor's degree preferred, 2+ years of experience in business, data, financial analysis, programming, reporting with a solid understanding of data storage structures, advanced level proficiency in Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, intermediate level proficiency with Microsoft PowerPoint, demonstrated process improvement, workflow, benchmarking, and evaluation and/or evaluation of business processes required. 1+ years of experience with project methodology, requirements, design, development, test, and implementation. Excellent communication, time, project management, problem solving, organization, and analytical skills required. Working knowledge of relational databases and database structures. Intermediate proficiency with SQL preferred. Healthcare industry experience preferred. So let's go look at my resume and how I catered my resume for this specific job posting. What I did for every job that I was applying to is I had the same base resume, but I would tweak different words and different parts of my resume to make it seem like I've specifically catered it to that specific job. So let's dive into that right now. Okay, so keep in mind as we go through my resume, when I first applied to this role, I didn't have a technical degree, zero hands-on SQL experience. What I did with my resume was focus on my strengths and then also align those strengths with what they were looking for in the job description. And here's how I structured. When you look at this, you're gonna notice that this is a little bit unorthodox compared to what the typical resume advice that people will give you of like how to structure it. I prefer structuring it this way because for recruiters to look at your resume and know, oh, okay, he fits exactly what we're looking for inside this role. Also, the ATS systems, if you don't know, are basically the filtering systems when you upload your resume into their systems. They're looking for specific keywords to make sure that when you get to the next level, it'll filter out the resumes and candidates that the hiring managers are looking at. So if you do not have those keywords inside your resume at all, you'll get filtered out. So here, let's just look at the overall structure. This is unorthodox. The reason why I do this is because it makes it clean and easy to read. Because when we're looking at a bunch of resumes, I remember when new candidates would come in, I'd help when I was helping a lot on the hiring side. They'd send it to the senior people, the senior employees on staff. Our boss would send us, he's like, oh, here, we got a bunch of new resumes. Look them over. I'm considering interviewing these people. Let me know what you think. When you're looking at a bunch of resumes, you don't want it to be hard to read and hard to find your relevant work experience and your relevant achievements. So the way that I do this is you know exactly what my areas of expertise are, how long I've been working, top keywords at the top. These are significant keywords inside healthcare. And then areas of expertise, these are the specific programs that I worked on that might apply for the different roles that I'm applying for. And then this is also software proficiency. This is all the different things that I would add in here that they might be looking for based on the job resume and then based on just what skills I have. And then here, this is the thing that I think is the most important, is career achievements. highlighting your career achievements and putting in a section at the very top that shows not only why it's important, like what did you do, give me context so that I can understand as somebody who doesn't have any background on your projects and what you do, why this might be important, and also the impact that you had. And when you can communicate your technical skill sets and what you do for the business, it becomes easier for somebody to understand the value that you can bring to a company. Write a whole list of all your relevant work experience, all the projects that you got on, your special projects that you got put on, and then think of what looks the best on a resume and what would look the most impressive for the job that I'm applying for. So then that's what I would put inside my career achievements. And then everything else is normal. Other thing that people will say too is like, my margins aren't perfect, my font isn't the same, it's not consistent, but I came from a graphic design background. As long as it's clean and you can communicate the value, that's all that really matters. If your boss is anal about having 1-inch margins, you don't want to work for that boss. Or I didn't want to work for that boss. It was a way for me to filter out micromanaging bosses who cared too much about the small stuff instead of the value that I could bring to the company. So I did those little tweaks so I could fit everything on 2 pages. And then I also did it a little bit differently because I don't want my resume to look exactly the same as everybody else's. So in the fact that this looks different from everyone else's, it's different structure, but it's still easy to read and it still presents valuable information, that matters more. If you can make it easier on anybody who's going to be looking at your resume to be like, oh, okay, let's get them in for your interview. Their resume looks good enough. It looks interesting, looks like they can help. That goes a long way instead of just trying to conform to a format that nobody really cares about. And the people who really care about that are going to be micromanaging managers that you typically don't want to work for. So this also acted as a filter for me to not get hired by those micromanaging managers. But to be honest, most of the jobs that I've used this format with, I've gotten to an interview anyway. So I prefer this. And a lot of my friends, when I've redone their resumes and I put them on this, they've gotten jobs. So I'm doing pretty well right now. Okay, let's jump into some of the nitty-gritty details of this resume and my thought process behind it and why it works. First is you're normally going to have a headline where you're going to be putting in your role of and that you currently have. So here I put expert healthcare data analyst. Again, important keywords. They would know about risk adjustment. They would know about paper performance. They would know about CMS star, HEDIS, and counter submissions. Even if they don't know about it, they probably heard about it. And these are also here again for ATS systems as keywords for when people are searching. Then you would have your summary, which is the next thing that's underneath. And I just put a passionate data analyst with over 5 years managed healthcare organization experience. I put that because I wasn't a data analyst for all those 5 years. I was a data analyst for probably 2 of those years, but I wanted to show that I've been in healthcare for over 5 years at this time. And then specializes in reporting, financial analysis, project management for risk adjustment, pay for performance, CMS, HEDIS, and counter submissions. I could probably just remove those. It's still fine. It's a little redundant with the top, but it's okay. Why did I put that? Because it matches what they were looking for inside the job requirements. I did do reporting. I did do financial analysis. I did do project management, but I specifically put it in there because that's what they were looking for inside the job requirements. Areas of expertise, these were just all of the different areas. Again, a bunch of keywords, but also relevant to my work experience, summarized in just little sound bites. Whoever's looking at this would be interested in and also would ask me about. These are big projects that if somebody were to ask me about, I'd be able to explain, and then it would make my interview go better and why they were important to the company. And then software proficiency, this just makes it a clean and easy way, again, SEO, so that they would have all the keywords that they'd be able to search for. And then this portion, career achievements, is what I think is the most important because most people cannot communicate their value and how to show measurable results. The top one I put because it had the highest financial impact. And then so I put the most memorable thing on top. I created a $2.2 million 2012 Risk Adjustment Pay for Performance and CMS Star Incentive Program. This program was developed for nearly 300 primary care providers with over 3,000 Medicare Advantage members and 18,000 commercial members. I put all the numbers there so that you could get a gravity of how many physicians were part of this, how many members this affected, what type of members these affected, and then ultimately how much the budget and how much money was designed inside this program so you could actually understand what I did and the impact of it. And then on top of that, we saw the requirements. There was process improvement, workflow optimization. I integrated different ways and different things and tweaked some of the different words so that it would fit process improvement, project improvement, and then optimization so that it would be interesting to the hiring manager at that time, who I didn't know. This whole section is just a representation of your communication skills. And then going to the next parts, this is gonna showcase work experience. This is just like every other resume, but the thing again you wanna do is with these sub-bullets is be able to give enough context, give enough measurable results and your skill sets as you can as it relates to the job. If not, you can always leave these as long as they're good. What you can do with ChatGPT and just a little hack, and what I would do as a starting point is I would say, can you act as a copywriter? And then for those who don't know what a copywriter is, it's basically the people who create the sales copy for sales letters, advertisements, website copy, which is just the words on a website to get you to buy. That is actually something that I used to do, and one of the reasons why I'm good at writing these bullets. You can have ChatGPT get you 80% of the way there if you just ask it to think like a copywriter and then make it relevant to this job requirements. Go through each bullet and then just keep tweaking until you have really good bullets for each. The other thing you want to do is just keep it to 2 pages. It's all chronologically ordered, and then the bottom is just education. And then any awards, special awards, or activities and affiliations, you want to include these because these are ways for you to stand out. And then the bottom, you're just going to add in your resume, your references. You also want to put in the cell phone of your references. Some people say to have it on a separate form, but sometimes the hiring manager is going to call your reference at that moment. And if you have it available and they have time, easier you can make it, the more likely you'll make it to the next step. So I hope seeing my old resume gives you actionable tips to improve your current resume, but there is a harsh truth about becoming an analyst that you need to know. So click on my next video to learn what it is, and understanding it can save you months of frustration or even years. So click on that now.